record right now, and you're on, and you're there.
Okay, it's
And
fine.
It's being recorded, you bet. And welcome, everyone. We're going to get started now. So I'm going to, first of all, ask our treasurer, Carol, to give us a financial report. And then we're going to introduce Corey, who's been patiently waiting and is going to give us a lot of good information. So Carol, go ahead with yours first.
Okay, as of May 31st, our savings account balance was $12,043.37. And the checking account balance was $2,159.79 with no outstanding checks this time. And then since then we have added, we finally got the check from the Great Give. And there was in donations, $858.24. And then they took out $42.90 from that in fees. So we've, and then they added an additional $66.10 from the bonus pool. So the total that we received from them was $881.44. And then in addition to that, we someone paid through PayPal. And so we've got about $981.44.
Thank you very much, Carol. Welcome, everyone. I'm sorry for all of our difficulties this morning, but it seems like it's going to happen no matter when and no matter what we do to prepare to do it right. I'd like to introduce to you our speaker today, Corey Ambrose. And Corey has been in technology sector and working with computers and electronics for 19 years. So I'm sure he can guide us through a few things that we just went through, knowing the right password and all that good stuff. But we thought we had it all figured out, and you didn't need a password, just slip in. But anyway, here we go. With him, he's been working with with Staples as a technician, and he's a tech sales manager. I saw him working yesterday, and he works with his phone, and he gets almost everything done before they even walk to make out the contract. Pretty sharp. And so as indicated there, he's got a lot of information he's going to pass on to us. Primarily, he's going to identify the most common policing, I think that's the right word. Anyway, tips, but he said he's also teaches to keep yourself safe and steps to take it so you don't fall victim to this process that's he's going to explain to you. And according to the FBI, this is the most common cyber crime in 2020. So let's welcome Corey. You're on, guy. You're on, and you are muted.
I should be good now, right?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to share my screen because I got a presentation.
Sure.
Let me. So let's do. Oh goodness. Okay. This whole. Yeah, that.
You're co-host, so you can do what you need to do.
Yeah, apparently my computer, I need to allow Zoom to look at my screen. Give me one sec.
You probably found this getting together interesting, but that's the way it is with Zoom sometimes.
Hey,
no matter what you do.
Right? All right, so portion of my screen. Oh, goodness. Now I'm going to have technical difficulties. Gosh. Okay, can you see? Let me go ahead and see if I can make this bigger because it just wants to share part of my screen for some reason.
I see that. Yeah, you're really large.
Are you able to see my screen?
Good.
Does that look good?
Looks good.
All right, awesome. So as you said, yeah, I'm the sales manager at the Port Orchard Staples. I've been working with technology for a while. I built my first computer when I was 11 years old. We're going to talk primarily about phishing, which is, like he said, one of the top cyber crimes in 2020, and it will be this year. It's going to double. But I'm going to also go over a few other things like deceptive websites, the tech support scam, things like that, and even some other scams that most people fall victim to. So the first thing we're going to go over, oh, it's not going to let me event. Okay, there we go. So the first thing we're going to go over is phishing. And then we'll talk about deceptive websites and the refund scam. But for phishing, basically it's a method of trying to gather your personal information using deception. So like I had on the previous screen, a little phishing poll. You're the fish, and they're trying to hook you and steal your personally identifiable information. So it could be your name, your phone number, your social security number, your banking information, basically anything that you find personal so that they can use it against you. And before we jump into the type of phishing methods, I just want to show you guys this screen real quick and kind of ask you some questions. So I actually personally received this email that you see on the screen from Navy Federal Credit Union. That's who I bank through. And if you all take a quick glance at this, do you see anything out of the ordinary with this email? It looks pretty good, or no?
Grammar is a little bit bad.
No, that's the first thing. Yeah, one of the things. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, exactly. So this is actually a phishing email. It's one of the most convincing ones that I've seen. That's why I chose to use it for the presentation. But if we actually break down this email that I got, you can see there's a lot wrong with it. So the first thing to look for in emails that you get, especially something from, your credit union or from your bank, it's going to be personalized, right? It's going to have your name. It's going to have something about you and your account number, or like Navy Federal uses access numbers. So in this email that I got, the access number at the top here is all red. There's nothing, it's just a bunch of X's. There's nothing there. There'd be the last four of my account number or, my access ID. And then they're addressing me as dear customer. Navy Federal knows who I am. They know I'm Corey. They would address me as such, either, dear Corey or dear Mr. Ambrose, something of the like. And then also the next red flag is the grammatical errors. So, big organizations like this, they have generic emails that they send to everybody. They go through editors. They don't want to be caught with grammatical errors. So those are the biggest things to look for. So account need to be updated. It would say your account needs to be updated or something like that. Or to verify account, please follow link below. Obviously that comma is in the wrong place. So yeah, just look for things like that. And I'm always cautious. And that's what I tell everyone to be, is cautious. Anytime you get an email, because we get lots of them, right? Double, triple check before you do anything in that email, before you click on a link, because they're trying to get your information. And then another thing that you want to check as well is the link itself. So if I was to click on this link in that email, it's actually going to take me, as you can see here, to a website that's not even Navy Federal. So the link down here looks like www.navyfederal.org. But if I were to click on it, it redirects me to some random website. And that's where they're going to try to steal your banking information, maybe even your Navy Federal login. So just double, triple check everything. If you feel it's suspicious or you feel like things are off, the best thing to do is ignore the email and contact the sender directly. So in this case, Navy Federal, I would want to give them a call or go down to the local branch and show them and say, hey, I got this email. Is everything okay? Because they're going to know better than I would. But that's the first thing, just phishing emails. Does anyone have any questions, or have you guys ever gotten one of these emails? Nope.
You have to mute yourself.
Yes, I've received several of those.
What do you normally do with them when you receive them?
I put them in my
There you
spam.
go. Yeah, that's the best thing to do because you know, these senders, if you throw them into, you know, most like web emails have spam folders. So if you put it in your spam folder, the person who sent that email to you, it's never going to hit your inbox ever again. So if they try to send you something else, it's going to go to your spam folder and you're never going to see it. So that's the best thing to do with them. Another thing that you can do is you can contact the person who sent it. So if it came from your bank, or maybe it looked like it came from Amazon or another website, contact them and let them know you want to report a phishing attempt. What they'll do is they'll have you send them the email, and they'll find the sender and information about them to stop them from being able to do it in the future. So if you can and you feel comfortable, try to contact them and report it. Like in this case, I would contact Navy Federal and let them know there was a phishing attempt, and they can gather information to stop it from happening to other people. But yeah, does anyone else have any questions about phishing or websites or emails or anything like that so far?
Please mute yourself if you wish.
I mean, we can always do, I have some Q&A at the end too, so we can move forward and then come back to questions and stuff like that too. The next thing we're going to go over is like deceptive websites. Usually it looks like this. It's real big. It's real scary. Has anyone actually had this happen to them before? Usually it'll pop up. It might flash at you telling you got a virus and to call Microsoft. I know I've had it a couple times. But basically, websites like this, you can get to them from many different reasons. Usually what happens when you come to one of these websites, you probably typed a website in wrong. A lot of these bad actors, they purchase websites that are close to the website that you want to go to. Like for instance, if I accidentally typed an extra O when I'm going to google.com, I might get one of these websites, and they do that on purpose. They want you, they're expecting you to mistype something and end up at their website instead of the one that you want to go to. It can also happen if you, like, if I were to click that link in the email from Navy Federal that I got, it might take me to one of these websites instead of trying to get my login info. Or even advertisements. Like sometimes I've seen Facebook ads, you know, click on a Facebook ad and you get taken to one of these websites. But basically what they do is it flashes red, it makes loud sounds come out of your speakers, and it might even remove access from your computer. So you wouldn't be able to close it out or anything like that. And basically it's designed to create urgency so that you don't think, you just call the number. This is what most of them try to do. They want you to think that you're in immediate danger, immediate threat, so that you don't think and process the information. They just want you to call them and then they've got you. No genuine company is going to do this. So this does say Microsoft on the screen, as you can see in the top left, but no genuine company is going to force you to call them to give you access back to your computer. And then once you do call them, they're going to do a bunch of stuff on your computer. The first thing they're going to want to do is they're going to want to connect to your computer. Don't let them do that. But if you were to let them do that, they're going to start doing a bunch of stuff to fool you into thinking that you're hacked. So on the screen here, I actually have a screenshot from what these people do once they get into your computer. They open normal programs, like this program is called Command Prompt. If you're not advanced, I don't expect you to know what it is, but this is on your computer right now. It's just normal, it comes with it. But what they do is they type a bunch of information into this prompt and they tell you that you have foreign connections on your computer, but you don't. Basically, it's all theater, right? So they want to keep your mind in a state of panic so that you let them into your computer and that you pay them for doing the work that they're doing, even though they're not doing anything. 9 times out of 10, once they get into your computer, they're secretly doing stuff in your background because you gave them full access. They could be installing malicious programs. They could be stealing your personal information. They could be gathering your passwords from your computer. And what ends up happening is if you say, no, I don't want to pay you, they'll take your files hostage. They'll take your computer hostage and then they'll say you're not getting it back until you pay us. So make sure if anyone ever wants to connect to your screen, be wary, don't let them do it unless you know specifically who that person is, you know them personally, because 9 times out of 10, they're a bad actor, so you don't want to let them in your computer. Does anyone have any questions so far? Has anyone had this happen to them? And the reason I ask is because we get a lot of customers in the store. It's almost a weekly basis. We get several people in our store. They say, you know, I clicked on a link and now I can't use my computer. Or I called this company and they got into my computer, and by the time I realized it was too late. So this is something that happens to a lot of people. Have any of you had this happen to you personally?
Not to me, but it happened to a friend of mine. His wife got bamboozled by one of these things, and it was a few $100s that they paid to get their computer back working. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do. They make you think there's something wrong, but there's nothing wrong. And then they actually cause the problem. That's the thing that bothers me the most is your computer's fine. But once they get into it, they cause problems and tell you that it's someone hacking you so that you pay them. So just be really weary. You know, these can happen in a bunch of different ways. You might get that pop-up like you see on the screen here, and it tells you to call the phone number. It might even be a situation where they personally call you on your phone and they say, hey, we're from Microsoft. Are you near your computer? So even if you're not on the internet, sometimes you're not safe. If somebody has your phone number, they're going to call you. Another couple different things that can happen, you know, if someone calls you and they tell you that they're from somewhere, the best thing to do is to let them know you'll call them back. Because you might get a call that says, hey, I'm from the IRS and you owe us money. There's other ones that say, you know, hey, your grandchild or your child, they were locked up and you need to send money to bail them out. Like there's so many different things that happen to get your money. So the best case is if you get a phone call that you're not expecting and they say they're from Microsoft or Apple or from the IRS or from the government, it's not. Microsoft doesn't have time to call you. They would expect you to call them. The same thing with the IRS. They would send you a letter physically in your mail. They don't have time to call everybody. They want you to call them. So that's the first red flag, is that you even got that phone call in the first place. And then what you want to do is just let them know you'll call back, hang up, and then find the appropriate number. Like actually go to Microsoft.com, go to support and find their number physically on their website, or go to irs.gov, find their phone number physically and call them yourself. Never let that person who called you trick you or take anything from you or request that they connect to your computer. And then another big one that happens, this one's called the refund scam. This one gets a lot of people. This is actually, you know, one of the big ones that happens. And basically it involves someone calling you, telling you that they have a transaction. It usually has an email like this with it, you know, saying, hey, thanks for your order. If you didn't make this, call us. This is another bad one. So, you know, basically, once they call or you've called them, they immediately try to get you to let them into your computer. And that's going to be the red flag, right? But if you did give them access, again, there's full access to your computer. They're able to do stuff without you even knowing. And usually what they'll do is they'll say, hey, you know, that's fine. Let's get you a refund. You might already have it. Check your bank account for us. And then while they're on your computer, you log into your bank account, your screen all of a sudden goes black and you can't see anything. And then once it comes back, it shows that you've been refunded, you know, $2,000 or $5,000. And then immediately that person says, I made a mistake. Or they'll say that you made a mistake. And they'll say, you need to pay us back. If you don't, you know, my kids are going to starve. I'm going to lose my job. They'll try to appeal to you emotionally. And if that doesn't work, that's when they lock down your computer and tell you, well, unless you pay me back, you're not getting your computer back. I have some really good educational videos on this that actually shows what it's to look like from the perspective of the victim and I can get those over to you guys. I don't know if there's someone I can get them to, but they'll really show you how these things take place so that you can be aware and prevent it from happening to yourself. Has anyone heard of like a refund scam like this? Oh, you're
Yeah.
raising your hand.
Corey, I got a question here.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of these phone calls regarding an Amazon account. And I think that may be the beginning of it all. And if you even respond to that phone message in any way, I think it probably will then generate one of these on your computer.
Right, yeah, it can happen that way. So I mean, the first thing, you know, like I mentioned before, they're just at the beginning, they're just phishing. They want to see if you're going to respond to them. That's why they send the email. That's why they do the initial phone calls. And then once you respond to them in some way, they know that they've got you on the hook, and they can continue, they can start to pressure you, and they can start to get you to believe things or do things that you normally wouldn't do. So the first thing to do, I mean, if you're getting phone calls like that, first thing to do is if you're able to block the phone number.
Yep.
The only problem is that they have unlimited access to phone numbers. So in most cases, they're just going to call you from another one. You can try to get in touch with your carrier, you know, talk to them about all the spam calls that you're getting. But really the foolproof method, and this is from somebody like me, when they call me, I challenge them because I know that I have an Amazon account. Amazon's not going to call me. Or, you know, I have an Apple account. Apple's not going to call me. When they're on the phone, challenge them. Say, hey, I know what you're up to. I know that you're not Amazon or Apple or Microsoft, and I know that you're trying to scam me. If you challenge them on the phone, they usually stop calling you. So if you keep repeatedly getting phone calls, no matter what you do, once you get that next phone call, just challenge them and let them know that you don't believe them. And then they'll know that you're not a target, and then they don't want to come after you because you know what's going on.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Any questions so far? Anything about anything at all? I mean, we can talk more at the end. I'm going to get into like ways to avoid phishing and what to do if you fall victim. But does anyone have any questions so far?
One thing I noticed, I got a call this morning from a 607 area code. That happens to be what my cell phone is, because I got the cell phone when we lived there in Southern New York. And I pretty much don't pick up anything from a 607 number. When I do pick them up, they're telling me my warranty on my car is expired.
Right.
Usually by a robocall. So they just make calls to random 607 or random numbers and match the area code and probably the first 2 or 3 digits of your phone number. The problem with robocalls, it doesn't cost them anything to call you. And that's
Right, yeah,
just a comment I've got from this morning. If I do answer and actually go to talk to somebody, I'll jerk them around for as long as I can till they finally realize that I'm just pulling their chain.
Yeah, and that's usually the best thing to do, because once they realize that, you know, you're not a target, they don't want to come after you anymore. Because, you know, I'll get phone calls all the time. I'm like you, I'm originally from Maryland, so my cell phone starts in 443. So I know that if anyone calls me from Maryland, they're going to be in my phone because it's my family. I don't have any more contacts. I've lived in Washington for about 12 years now. So if there's a number calling from my old state, I know it's not anybody that I know. They would call from 360 number. But that's the best thing that you can do. You know, if they call and say, hey, your IP is being hacked. Okay, what's my IP address? And then they're not going to be able to tell you what it is. Or say, what's my name? You called me. Who am I? You know, what kind of computer do I have? You said I'm being hacked. What's my laptop? What's the maker of my laptop? You know, once you start questioning them, they're gonna leave you alone. At least that's what I found.
Well, I usually have fun with them because I have a Linux system, and they're asking me, what do you see on your computer? And I'm telling them Linux stuff. And they're, what do you mean you don't have a C drive?
Yeah, because they're like, we're from Microsoft. Well, I don't even use your software, so why are you calling me? So yeah, you're in a good spot. And then, of course, I mean, like we talked about before, ways to avoid phishing. It's going to happen to you no matter what. There's no way to stop it. These people, they buy big lists of email addresses, big lists of phone numbers. And you're somehow some way you're going to have something in one of those lists. There's no way to avoid it. But you can protect yourself by just, keeping an open mind. Always, be ready to look for things that are suspicious. So check the spelling and grammar of websites and emails before you worry about any of the information in them. I have in here, watch for website redirects. This is something where you're surreptitiously sent to another website that looks like that. So like in my first one with that Navy Federal account, it looks like a Navy Federal website, but it immediately changes to another website and it looks like Navy Federal. So just keep an eye for that. If you click on a link, double check in your web browser at the top, make sure it's still that link that you clicked. If it's something different, immediately leave the page. If the email that you get is from a known source, like mine was from Navy Federal, but it seems suspicious, like I said before, reach out through a verified contact method. Go to Navy Federal's website, get their phone number, or whoever the case may be. And then, of course, don't publicly post your personal data. Like, don't post your phone number on social media, don't post your email addresses. And then don't post your vacation plans unless you have your privacy set properly. Anybody with a little bit of information about you can see what you post on social media. So like if I go to Twitter and I'm like, hey, I'm going to vacation, to Cancun, next week, and they have my phone number, they'll call me and they might say, hey, I'm from your bank. I see that you're making charges outside of the country. And then they'll try to get you to provide information. So they're very smart, unfortunately smarter than I would like to give them credit for, but they are. And, I've worked with a lot of people. We're actually trying to get a lot of these call centers shut down. I've personally worked with people to catch them and report them to the FBI. And we've actually got call centers shut down. But unfortunately, they're over in other countries like India and stuff like that, where also it's so profitable for them. They're never going to stop. They will just open another one. So it's just best to remain cautious when you're on the internet at all times. Let me go to the next slide here. So usually what I would say is if you fall victim, hold on, I think I'm missing a slide. Oh, my slides are backwards. Okay, we'll do this in a different way. Hold on one second. So, if you fall victim, the best thing that you can do is, if you provided your financial information, call the institution immediately, let them know that you provided that information. Another thing to do is purchase and install virus protection and run frequent scans. Like when I had that Navy Federal email, that link that I clicked, it actually, my virus protection stopped that website from opening because it knew it was malicious. So I don't know if I can actually go back to it, but the pop-up of the website actually said page not found. And it's because my virus protection stopped me from going to that website. It stopped it from redirecting me. So having virus protection is really essential. If you allow someone from one of these malicious sites to gain access to your computer, shut it down immediately, find a local tech who can reverse or correct anything that happened. Really, anytime you're dealing with tech support, try to deal locally as much as possible. That way, the person you're dropping your device off to, you see them, you're paying them to be your tech. So it's a lot better than just a random person calling you. And then speaking from the standpoint of Staples, if you were to bring your device in, we usually charge a one-time service to get you fixed. And then you can have a subscription through us where we give you virus protection. Like for us, if someone falls victim to one of these attempts, we do a diagnostic and repair to remove programs and software that were installed. We remove viruses from the computer, and then we actually put McAfee on your computer so that you're protected going forward. But I think that's pretty much what I had. I mean, does anyone have any questions? It can be about anything. And of course, we're here to help if you do need us. But does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, just one thing to point out, you get these scam calls and he say, is this your name? Never say yes on the phone when somebody asks your name, because that could be recorded and you already said yes to some program. So never
yeah.
say yes.
And they might actually not know what your name is. And then once you say yes, they've confirmed, okay, this phone number is this person.
That's correct.
And now they can find other information about you and start to use that in future calls that they make to you and make you believe that they're legit when they're not.
A problem I see is on your mobile phone, if you, the numbers can be any area code or whatever. I mean, it's crazy that they're able to choose the area code they want. So if you have an appointment with someone and then you have a follow-up and they'll say, we'll call you. And I always ask them, is your business name going to pop up on my ID? And they'll say, well, no, because we have several. And I say, well, then I might not answer, because I don't answer. If I don't know, if you're not in my contact list, I don't answer. You can leave a voicemail, because I have voicemail on there, and then I'll call you back. I just don't answer them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I mean, if it's someone that you're dealing with that you know and you trust, and they say that they're going to call you, you can ask for their phone number, that way you can add it. If they have multiple phone numbers, you could say, well, give me one of them and I'll call you in 2 days. Don't call me. That way, know who you're getting to. Yeah.
I did have a phone one time. I was outside and they said it was Chase Bank. And so I don't even remember exactly what was said, but when it finally got to a point, I went, wow, and I said, I'll call the bank, and they hung up.
Yeah,
So,
and that's what to do. And that's one of the biggest things that you want to do. If you get it, usually you're not going to get contacted, and that's the first red flag, because they're going to contact you in some other method. They're not going to call you. They'll usually give you an email or something like that. But that's what I say is always just, if you're ever suspicious, just stop, be cautious and call them directly. That's the best thing to do. Does anyone have any questions? I know we had some technical difficulties earlier.
yeah.
It looks like that may have helped. I mean, I can give you some time back in your day, or, if anyone has questions about anything, you've got me for another 10 minutes.
We got plenty of time. Doug, you may want some information there, and Jack as well. Just mute yourself, and we got time today. And we got a pretty sharp person right here to give us some guidance. We're getting a lot of bad stuff, both on the phone and on the computer, and we have to weigh it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing is like I believe last year there were I think 241,000 incidences of this happening, and we're already double that this year, and we're not even done. We're only halfway through the year, so this isn't something that's going away. Unfortunately, it's something that is just getting bigger. So you got to be even more cautious these days than you were, last year or the year before that.
I got a question. I got that Microsoft, don't, your computer's froze, do not shut off, call so-and-so. So I called my internet dealer. He told me if I changed my modem, they'll block them from doing it again. Is that any truth to that?
No, it's not. Because I mean, those pop-ups, they have nothing to do with you personally. They have nothing to do with your connection, your hardware, anything like that. It's usually you've gone to a wrong website, you've clicked a link, or you've done something by accident that gets you to that website.
So the only way to actually hard shut down the computer is because you can't close the screen.
I'm right. So it stops you from being able to do certain things. There are ways to get that screen to close out, without shutting your computer down. If you have a Windows computer, it's usually Control, Alt, and Delete. And then that'll let you open your task manager, and you'll be able to close that window out that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
if you have a Mac computer or a Linux computer, it's usually going to be like Command Q. I know that's for Apple. I'm not sure if there's a command for Linux or not. I know someone in here has Linux. I don't know if there's a force shutdown button or not.
I see Don with us today. Lawrence, he's a gentleman that does our taxes. He guides us through our taxes. Don, do you have any questions for Corey today? You can mute yourself.
No, I've been through a number of these things. I get at least an email every other month or so supposedly from Wave Cable, who is my ISP. And inevitably they're turning around and saying there's something wrong with my email account and I need to verify it and that sort of thing. But if you turn around and check the link that they want you to use, you will find out that link does not really point to Wave Cable. I've reported it to Wave Cable a few times, but I don't think anything's ever happened. I've also seen one where I got an email supposedly from a fellow Rotarian, and she wanted me to loan her the money to buy a gift card from Amazon. And anytime you get a request for a gift card from anybody for any reason whatsoever, it's most likely a scam.
100% of the time. And that's usually how they get you to pay them, right? So if you do fall victim and you let them on your computer, they're going to say, well, now you need to pay me. How are you going to pay me?
Yeah.
And usually they'll be like, well, go down to your local CVS or Rite Aid, pick up a $500 Amazon gift card or a Google Play gift card or something like that. So if they want to take their payment and either you mailing them cash or a cashier's check or you giving them gift card codes, it's a scam. A genuine company is going to accept debit or credit. So yeah, that's a big red flag.
Doug,
And then I did say earlier, I do have some pretty good educational videos. I'm just looking on my other computer screen here. I have some good educational videos that show you the process of one of these scams from the point of view of the person being scammed. So in this case, it would be the person who's fallen victim. Usually it's not someone who actually has fallen victim. It's actually, there's a lot of people out there that what they do is they call these numbers personally because they're very tech savvy and they know how to stop them from breaking things. And they keep them on the call as long as possible because if they're on the call with them, they can't scam somebody else because they're tied up. So if there's a place that I can send some of these educational links to, I can definitely do that later today as well. I don't know if you can pass those around, but that's the best way to see what these people will do once they get you on the phone. And once they get on your computer, you can see what they're doing or what they would do so that you're educated. Is that something that I can send to you?
Could that be a part of our newsletter, Ed?
it could be. Talk to Jack there. What do you think, Jack?
I missed the question. What was the question?
Could
So
the educational videos the links be put in our newsletter so people could access them via the newsletter?
Yeah, there are a number of ways of doing that. We could put it on our Google account in the file there and have it opened up to everybody to see it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, we've had several links in the newsletter that go directly there to things in the Google folders. So yeah, sure, it can be done.
Obviously it can, because I used the newsletter to link to Zoom to get on this webpage or to get on this meeting.
Right, and it should be. It should work every time, but it doesn't.
Yes, please send them to me.
Okay, I think I I think I have Ed's contact info. I don't know if you can get me Carol's contact info, Ed, or some fashion. Or is there, or do you have the email that I can send it to?
Send them to Bremlady, BREMLADY 9527 @gmail.com.
So that's,
Put it in the chat to him.
yeah, drop it in the chat. That way I have it. Let me
Okay,
just- I want to make sure I spell it right.
Do you have that?
I'm doing it.
Doug, if you have any questions for Lori, Corey, that would be a good time for it.
Nothing here.
Nothing there? Okay.
Yeah, man, I just got a phone call asking my name, so-and-so organization for Medicare.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I got that. I got that email address.
Okay,
Perfect. So I'll get those links together. I'll probably send them over a little later tonight. I couldn't get the presentation over to you, Ed, because it was too large. My email account wouldn't let me send it here at the store. So I'll get that sent out to you just so that you have the deck if you want to send it out so people can see it later on. I know that you're recording, but I'll get that to you in some way. But yeah, I want to thank you for letting me take some time out of your guys' meeting. You know, if you need anything, we're here for you here at Staples. You know, local tech, we'll take care of you. But yeah, that's pretty much what I had.
I think so. Anybody have any further questions for Corey before you let him go? I know we had difficulty getting in, but I think that's been very helpful for many. And Corey has already given us his email, but we'll have all of that information passed on to you too for any questions in the future. I'll just go around there. Bob or Dennis, anybody? We have Bob Edwards still on there. No, that's not Bob, but anyway, hello. And
He's there
Bill
too.
Roberts. Pat, have you got any? See, she's not right there. Ray, welcome back. And any questions you might have?
No, I think it was a good presentation.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very good. We have a, I thank you, Corey, because our phone and our computer are fighting each other, or they're trying to get to us one way or the other, and one leads to the next. I know. Beulah, do you have any, BJ, do you have anything there?
No, well, actually, I could have asked something that would have, anyway, that would have been more involved. I was just wondering what happens after these people get your data? How do they get your money from your credit card or your bank account or whatever? But then, like you said, you have other things you can send anyway. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the time, you know, once they get your information and they know about you, they'll go online, and all of us have stuff about us online, unfortunately, these days. But they'll try to find, you know, personal information about you, like maybe your vacation plans, or that's when they start to try to trick you. Maybe a family member has been incarcerated. You know, maybe a family member is you know, kidnapped. There's a lot of different ways that they do it, but once they have your name, they can start to look for your family members. You know, your last name, they can find your, you know, your child, your grandchildren, and then they'll use that against you and make you think that they're in trouble to start getting money from you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ones. I'll send some links that cover pretty much most of them. I think I have some. I'll have to find more, but I can, you know, provide some links that cover all vectors that they can attack you with.
Okay, thank you.
You
Yeah.
send those to Carol, and she can share them with all of us. Or we can get them to Jack, and it'll be in the newsletter there. That'll be helpful. Lorraine, any more comments today?
The only other comment I have any of you gotten the grandparent call? I did get one of those, you know, and
Not lately.
yeah, and it took me a while. And then it's because he didn't really sound exactly right. I finally asked him a personal question about what lake he lived on, and that stopped it.
We got one supposedly from our grandson trapped in Spain.
Yeah.
My only grandchild at the time was 3 years old. So I knew that was a fake right off.
Jack, do you have any comments at this late?
Not right now.
Okay, Carol, we just want to make sure you get your last shot in here before we let him go. I hope you don't mind.
Just one other thing that I believe he should have said, check your credit card statement every month.
Mhm.
One time we found a bill on there for a, come on, what's the company that makes the very expensive purses? I can't think of the name at the moment. But we found that what a lot of the credit card frauds do, will do one or two relatively low cost things to find out if you check the card. And then if you don't check, 2 or 3 months later, you're going to find something on there for thousands of dollars, and they're selling it. So
Yeah, and you guys seem pretty tech savvy. I'll send some other information over too, because I mean, I myself, I don't use my debit card or my credit cards online anymore, just because they can be intercepted. And I have some ways around that so that you can still purchase online, but not give your debit or credit card. So I'll send some information over about that too. But yeah, you just stay vigilant. Keep your eye on everything. It's always changing. They're always finding new ways to get money out of you.
Is PayPal a pretty safe way to go?
Normally, what I like to use, I use something called privacy.com. What the way that works is you link your bank account or your credit card to them. They issue you one-time use credit card numbers to use online. So I'll send some information over about that. Basically, you're using their card that can only be used once rather than your card, which is always open. So I'll send some information on that too.
Good, thank you.
Carol, do you have any more comments?
No, thank you. I don't.
How about Al?
It looks like Al has left.
Okay, all right. It looked like we're about there then. I want to thank you very much, Corey, for a very informative presentation. We really appreciate your time. It looks like I got a phone, so I'd like some of the folks to stay on board. And I'm going to just stop that one right now.
But no, yeah, thanks for having me. I'll send that information over.
Anyway, thank you very much, Corey, and we'll be in touch with you and probably get an update down the road. How's that sound?
Sounds good. I'll look forward to your contact, and I'll get some stuff over to you as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody who'd like to stay on board here, we'll talk about a few things. So I'm going to let Corey go.
Have a
And
good one.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your input. Thank you. Okay. We're still on board here just to talk a little bit about getting on. Jack, maybe you could give us some help as to what went wrong and why we didn't get people in. Jack, you still with us?
I don't think so.
Looks like he left.
I think he's gone. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry that we didn't. Dennis, go ahead.
Yes, I think the fact is that if you don't have a Zoom account on your computer, a Zoom app on your phone is why you can't get in. I think that's really a legitimate statement, but I want to check into that for sure. But that does make
Not for
sense.
me. I have a Zoom account. And I had it open. It would still wouldn't let me in.
Because
I,
coming through the newsletter is, to me, is as Jack set it up, it's the quickest way to go.
That's the way did you get in via the newsletter, Dennis?
I sure did. I went the first time.
See?
I've done it, many, many times through the newsletter, other ones. And that's a smart way of doing it. You just go to your website, boom, you're right in. No problem.
That's what I
Yes,
did.
but the one today, you had to go into your personal Zoom account to get in.
No, I went right in through the newsletter.
No, I had to go through my personal Zoom account to get in today.
I will talk to Carol, Mary Ann about this, and Carol and I can discuss this a little later too. I think we can fine tune this if we're going to have, starting in September, if we're going to have both the in-person and Zoom, we need to finalize this Zoom in some way. And it seemed like Mary Ann had fixed it. And when I went in and scheduled this particular meeting, I followed through with what she had given us, but somehow it's not working. And I double check those before I give them to Jack. And then it goes out the newsletter. But Dennis, you said you had no problem with that
I
one.
had no problem. I want to check into, I'll talk to Zoom personally and find out what's going on myself. Think of some ideas.
Email me
Yeah.
back and we'll try to get all of this worked out.
Sure.
It's very depressing and I find it challenging, but yes, go ahead, Don. Did you
Yeah,
have? an
actually,
account
what
together?
happened is the link to Zoom did not include the password. There's an additional account or access number that goes on the tail end of the Zoom link. And that will let you in without, but it'll let anybody who's got the link in. So,
Mary, Don,
but
Mary Ann
that's what
set it
happened
up.
to this link, because that's what I got on the 621, or pardon me, 2 days ago, the link that on the message about the meeting was missing that last set of digits.
Don, Mary Ann set it up so that we did not have to use a passcode.
Yeah, but, yeah.
But the thing
That's
came
why-
up when you brought it up, the first thing it said is it requires that you log in order to make the connection.
I don't, I don't know why it came up that way because she set it up just like hers, which is open all the time and you don't need a password.
Yeah, but if you've already got the account, that's okay. But if you don't have that account, then that's what happened is it essentially said you had to log in, give me an email and a password. And, I had to turn around and set up my Zoom password in order to get through. And,
Yeah.
It took me 4 or 5 minutes to figure out just what the heck was going wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen, I use Zoom all the time, and it's that set of numbers, which is usually the passcode, that trails the link.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have 2 sets of numbers following the Zoom link and so forth. So, and that was the one that was missing, and that turned around and said, okay, you need to identify yourself
Yeah,
in order
That's
to
what
make the connection.
that's what mine did.
I agree with that because then it gives you the option if you wanted to come up on your computer or if you want to come up on your smartphone. And that way you can choose whichever you're going to do. And if you don't have the password, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I think we need a clarification and it'll be, I'll ask Jack if he can't get all of this together because obviously we're having different ways of moving in and it depends on your account. But Don, I'm glad you joined us today.
Lorraine, save this and maybe we can show it to, save the recording so we can show it to Mary Ann and she can get all these different accounts of what happened today.
Okay.
It's very depressing to have people wanting to come in and not able to do so. And I
Yes.
had phone calls galore and I know that June probably had a problem again. I promised her that she could get in, and the best I could do is get it to Jack so he could get that information out. And it worked for Dennis, but obviously didn't work for everybody. Pat, how you doing? And any comments you have to make at this point? Go ahead.
No, I'm doing fine. I think maybe that some of the problem is from the people themselves, how they have set up, if they have a Zoom account or whether they go ahead and get in. You know, they have to have Zoom open for it to work efficiently. If they do that first, I don't know. But I just didn't have a problem with it. I just clicked on the link, but then of course I had opened Zoom first. You have to do a little pre-planning yourself.
But I did that.
You can't just click on it and have it magically appear. You have to do your part first, from what I've discovered for myself. Now, maybe everybody else is different, but anyway, that's where I'm coming from with it.
I just tried to come in on my tablet and I can't do it.
Jack, I'd like you to address this a little bit. We're talking about people having to come in and using their account and can you maybe, I don't know if you can hit everybody, but maybe in your communication, you and I thought that we had everything taken care of and that Mary Ann had set it in and Dennis had no problem coming in, but obviously we have members that are having difficulty coming in different ways. I don't know why.
I honestly don't know what could be. I talked to June quite some time and tried to get her in, and it kept asking her for a password.
Yeah.
No matter what she did, it kept asking her for a password. And on mine, I did just like I told you. I go to the newsletter and I click on that link over there on the right-hand side of the front page, and I went right in. No problem.
Yeah.
I don't know what people have. I have Zoom downloaded. I have a Zoom
I do too.
program downloaded to my computer.
Me too.
So when I click on the Zoom address, it opens up that program. Now, if you don't have that program, I'm not sure what happens.
Jack, can I ask
Yeah.
a question? You said you went to the box on the right-hand side and clicked on that.
Right.
Okay, so the one that I clicked on, the recent email, was right in the center. It was just a line in the center.
Right.
So
That was the reason. That was the email. I'm talking about the newsletter.
Okay, so that's
Newsletter.
what I mean. I went into the email. Maybe that's where we were having this problem.
It could be. I don't know why, but yeah.
I don't either, but I'm just saying you went to the newsletter, which is what I did last month, and I got right in.
Yeah.
This month I went to the email that was sent a couple days ago, and I couldn't get in without doing these machinations, which I did.
Okay. Let me go see if I can find that letter, that the email. Okay. Let's see
Well,
if I
I
can
came
find
in
it.
on the email. I
Excuse me?
came in on Ed's email that he sent the other day, and all
Yeah.
I did was click on the link. But when it comes up, it asks me, to,
Give a
I
pass.
forget the word on it, but you have to launch it. You have to download. You have to click 2 or 3 things first
Right.
before and save it, and then it automatically comes right up.
Yeah, that's the way it happens with me on the newsletter. I don't just get it right away. Okay.
Right.
It has
The
to.
email
It has.
is the same way.
Yeah, it has to open up Zoom.
Right.
Okay, and
But
once
you
Zoom
have-
is open,
you have-
and Excuse me, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You have to have Zoom open ahead of time. for it to
No, I
do it.
don't.
Yeah,
No, I
I go
don't.
in, I go in and have it Zoom up and running, and I have never had any trouble.
Okay,
Getting-
well, that's the way to do it then, but no, I don't have it open. I think it may have something to do with your apps and your settings in your Windows 10 as to which app works with what file, okay? It may be that way. I'll look into that, but right now, I can't figure out why it wouldn't do the newsletter thing. If you hang on here a second, let me go to the email.
72734. Oh. There, okay.
And mail merge testing. And well, right, naturally, I couldn't find it right away. So I'll have to look into that and see what the heck the story is. I have not had any problem logging in generally
Via the
to
newsletter.
anything that's been up there, even if it had the passcode. I put the passcode in when it asks me for it, and it takes me right out and opens up my Zoom, and it does all the things that I need to do. I can change my background picture. I can change my name. I can do all kinds of things. But I don't know what happens if you don't have that Zoom app downloaded and installed on your computer. I don't know what happens.
I have a suggestion, Jack. I don't want to get.
I finally got
into
in.
this, but I think that if we could get your communication with Mary Ann, since she set this up, because you and I have been there before with this password and all this stuff, and she made it where you didn't have to have the waiting list, which I didn't never want anyway. And then they said we had to have a password. Now they just say we don't. And she went in and it obviously Dennis was able to jump in here without any problem, and others as well. So I think that's what we need to do, is get a communication with Mary Ann and see if we can get something firm for everybody. I don't know. You got a comment right there? Carolyn, glad to see
I
you.
finally got in.
Oh, well, say, talk to Jack right now and let him know what you had a problem with and how you got in.
I went back and reopened 2 or 3 times since he was talking, and I hit the one that came up on one of the newsletters, and it opened it up finally. But it's been not working right at all, and I've never had this problem getting into a Zoom meeting. I've always just clicked on and it's opened, and I don't know what went wrong today.
Well, on the newsletter, I always once I schedule, and I followed Mary Ann's format, and once I get that, I send it to Jack, and then it goes in a newsletter, and it seems like there's something going on here that we don't know about that's making it difficult for some. So Jack said he's going to investigate this. We'll see where we're going from there.
Well, Ed, when you talk to Mary Ann, ask her about how she sends her notices for her classes via an email.
I think probably Carol might give that information right now.
Well, what email is she using? Because hers works fine every time. I mean, she uses the same input link every class.
I think she's using Google.
Think she's using Google? That's what we're using.
I don't know if she's using the YAM, yet another email, but,
Well, no, she wouldn't be using YAM, I don't think. She's not sending it to 200 or 300 people. She can, I
Yeah.
would think she's using her regular email program, to send it to 15 or 20 people, you know.
could be, yeah,
Yeah.
but, I think she goes through Google. Well, her email address isn't Google, but, just a minute, let me look.
Well, anyway, anybody that has to leave, we will try to resolve this because we're probably going to have a combination in September, which is going to be a challenge too, where we'd have Zoom and maybe in person. And
Bob
so
has his hands up.
who's this?
And can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Just as an overall 80,000 foot observation without getting into the workings of it, I have to wonder, because all of our programs are regularly updated. The creators of the programs are always doing something. And I have to wonder if maybe part of the problem is some of us are using program versions that are older, some are using program versions that are newer. If the originator who sets the meeting up, the individual meeting, were on a most recent edition, I would think the program would be set to pick up all of the other ones that may not have all the latest bells and whistles. But if the originator starts with a program that may not be the latest version, there may be some new things that newer people have that won't be affected, that won't be picked up on, and thus they can't get through. I've got to wonder, it's got to be something very simple and basic that we're overlooking. And what do we have in common? We're basically using the same systems. Some of us are signed into the program, some of us are not. There's a lot of things that are happening here locally. And I would think that maybe if we took someone who had the latest and greatest upload to be the host and try it, that might produce a different result. If not, we know at least we've tried it.
Bob, I have a question. How did you have difficulty getting in today, and how did you come in?
No, I came in on the email link. I was already logged in. That's how I get the background to work. The only way I can bring up the background is if I log in first to the program. And I was already logged into the program, so I just went over to the email and clicked the email. But when Carolyn tried it, it would not budge. It would take her up 2 or 3 steps and freeze. It would not go any further. And she kept trying it and rebooting and trying it and rebooting. It wasn't going anywhere. And then we heard the others doing the same thing. So we're sitting 6 feet apart going through the same router. Hers is a laptop running Windows 10. Mine is a desktop running Windows 10. And we're getting 2 completely different results. Where normally we each participate in 5 different Zoom meetings every month, for 4 of them for veterans organizations and 1 for a genealogical group. And we don't have any problem at all. No problem at all.
Well, I guess we've hashed this over about as much as we can do, and we'll go from there. And thank everybody for coming in today. And I know we had a very good speaker. I hope everybody benefited from Corey's advice on being safe out there on the phone as well as in the computer. Any other comments? If not, Carol, you want to stay on board for a minute? And Lorraine and anybody else, I want to talk just briefly about the meeting and where we are. But
Okay.
anyway, for you that need to go, enjoy the sunshine, but it's going to get hot today. And but
Not where I am.
boy, look at the background on Pat. He's got a beautiful yard. You go back there to shade, you can take a nap.
I want to go there, Jack.
That's it.
I want to
Thank
go
you.
there.
Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you, folks. You wish to go away. Doug, thanks for all of your time, and hopefully you can guide us into something a little more streamlined, and Jack the same way. I know it's been a tough one today, but we made it. We had a pretty good meeting, I thought. But I'd like to see it much smoother. Yes. Okay, take care and get your
Jack,
nap now, Jack.
Jack has a question.
Oh, you got a question? Oh, he's just saying bye.
Oh, he's saying bye.
He's there on, look at there, he's in Hawaii. I didn't know that. With a palm
Yeah.
tree.
He's gonna go for a swim.
What kind of
Okay.
lawnmower does he use to cut that grass?
Well, Carol, I want to know, before we wrap it up, and Lorraine, any other comments you want to make on this, and BJ, anybody on board, or Doug, just raise your hand here and we'll talk about it. Okay, BJ, you saying bye, or you got something to say?
I have something to say, but it's just brief. When you ask how Marianne gets messages to us, Marianne uses Hotmail when she sends messages to her class, if that's a help.
She uses her Hotmail email address.
Right, she does. Thank
Yeah.
you. Right.
But I think she uses, she goes through Google Chrome
Okay.
and does a Google email.
Okay.
And Bob's comment about the version that we have, Larry just gave that talk, and those of us who were in that forum, we went in and checked, and we have the latest Windows 10 update, those of us who were in there. So I don't know if that something, I don't know.
And do you have Zoom downloaded, the Zoom program downloaded to your computer? Or do you
As
just
far
go
as I
in?
know, yeah, because when I set it up, I had to download it, and then I transferred everything over.
Well,
to,
instead of going
you know.
in, then instead of going in through www.zoom.com,
Yeah,
why don't you just click on the Zoom icon
okay,
and open it up?
I'll give that a shot and see. Yeah,
We need to practice. We need some more practice sessions.
yes, we do, yeah. I'll try to do that, get back in that way.
Maybe we could get some of these people to that had trouble getting in to volunteer to come
Yeah.
in and practice with us.
Yeah, I don't want to be the problem. I want to be part of the solution here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I put it in, the only way that I could come in as the host, and I'll have to talk to Larry on that. Larry had to be away on an appointment today, but I'll see how he works with his open forum, because he and I are working with the same Zoom program that we're paid for. And I don't know, he schedules his, I go into the same schedule, and I'll just ask him how he gets in there to be the host for his group.
When you schedule the program, when you schedule the meeting, you
Yeah.
are automatically the host.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so I shouldn't have any problem when I bring it up. I should be right there.
But
And I was today. I was host right away. And then thanks to Dennis, he was already on there, and he and I talked quite a bit before we got others in there. So we know that it works for some, but not everybody. I'll talk to Larry too and see if I can't work that out, and maybe give you a call, and we can have a threesome, or I'll call.
we need to get
Lorraine or
Marianne
somebody.
on it.
And just have a small group here and sort of go through the process and come in from different directions. That's what we're gonna have to do.
Is there a phone number for Zoom at all that you know of? To call them?
I don't know.
I'll check
Well,
into it. If I find one, I'll let you know.
Okay,
Thank you, and thanks for your efforts. Maybe we'll get more military out there to help us out. You
I
bet.
haven't given up yet. Got a couple more to go.
you can probably chat with them. They probably have a chat thing set up.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, I say goodbye, and I'll be on email, and we'll talk more, okay? Lorraine,
Okay.
thanks for everything. By the way, I wanted to know,
I thought, what am I going to do? I can't get in.
oh, you're okay. By the way, do you happen to have the magnet, Carol and BJ, do you happen to have the magnet name tag that I suggested, but not everybody has to? Do you own
I have
Carol?
one, but I
You have
I
one?
keep forgetting about it.
Well,
I
I
have
didn't know
one
where
too.
mine was. I finally found it, but I think it's a nice thing to have. And I
Yeah.
wanted to know, BJ, do you happen to have one of those magnet?
I have one too. Thank you. Uh-huh.
Okay, good. Lorraine, I'm gonna order one for you and get you on board. Because when we're out there representing the computing seniors, it's a nice name tag that's read easily. And I think that's what we need to have. We want to be more professional than just a paper one that, the paper's okay. But anyway, well, have a good day. We've had a
Okay.
good meeting.
Oh,
Thank
now
you.
we have our trustees meeting, but there's no general meeting in July and August. Is that correct?
That's right. No general, and the trustees I'll be emailing you, and I'm hopefully we can go back to the coffee house for our final session with the trustees and the pastor. And that'd probably be, I had suggested, I think it was the 8th of July. Anyway, the second or third Thursday afternoon.
Right. It
And
was
we'll
the
see how
8th
that
to the
works.
15th.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, have a good day.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.